the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 movie review. Yay! Okay, I know I said that I was going to do this for a while, and I know everyone's probably watched the movie, but for anyone who hasn't, and if you don't like spoilers, then you'll probably want to leave right now. Although I will try to post like a whole bunch of stuff before the video of saying spoiler alert and all that stuff. So you have a few seconds. Sorry, my dog is making some weird noises. I don't know if you guys can hear it. So yeah, so I thought overall the movie was good. And let me first off by saying I have not read all of the book. If you can believe it, I have read all of it, and oops, sorry. And I think it's an issue I have with finishing series of books, because I have a couple other series of books I need to finish, but I just haven't. So one of the reasons why I made the book lovers club, try to motivate myself. But anyways, I have read a lot of the book. I've went through other parts and stuff, but I haven't read the whole complete thing all the way through. But yeah, I thought overall it was really good. I did think one thing that I know that's in the book and was also in the movie that I'm fairly disappointed on is that, you know, the Dursleys was such, I don't know, not a role model obviously in Harry's life, but for, you know, they kind of shaped a little bit of how he was a little bit and how his life was. And then, you know, they just kind of drive off into, not the sunset, but it wasn't probably the sun, but, you know, they just kind of drive off, and that's it. I was like, well, what happens to them? Did they get killed, or, you know, what happens? Because I would think that Voldemort would want to kill relatives, any relatives that are left that Harry has, and especially if they're monks. But yeah, it would have just been interesting to see if she had, you know, some more information on them. And even though it had a lot of the, not exactly main characters, but a lot of some of the characters like McGonagall and Neville and this type of characters that you still really liked and you kind of have a friendship kind of with, and you're interested to see what happens with them. And at least I am. I usually get too involved with all different types of characters and stuff. I was kind of a little disappointed that they weren't in too much. I mean, obviously I knew they weren't going to be in that much because, you know, in the book is basically about Harry and Voldemort and all of that, but I just thought that they had little snippets of them. Like, they kind of just put them in there just because they've been, you know, a little bit, well, not Neville necessarily, but some of the other characters, like Mrs. Weasley and Mr. Weasley and all, kind of just put them in there just a little bit just because, you know, they've been there for a part of the series. I just thought that they needed to have a little bit bigger parts. But and I don't know what anyone else thought about that. Obviously, towards the end, of course, when Neville kills Nagini, of course, that's a big part. But I always thought that Neville's character kind of got, you know, didn't get his credit in the movies as far as much as he had in the books. But in just a second. Okay, and we are back. So yeah, and I don't know what everyone else thought about that. I just thought in some cases that they should have given a little bit more, I don't know, play time. Again, I know, as my husband says, oh, who cares, you know, it's just a movie, it's just, you know, who cares what this character is doing or that character is doing, that's not the main focus. But Again, I know sometimes I probably get a little too much in different characters of books and stuff, but because I want to know, like, what's going on with the Burrow and everything, with the wedding party people. Where did they all go and hide? And but anyways, and the only other part that I was like, really? Because I thought they kind of whitewashed over the people who were killed. Like Tonks and Lupin and is it Fred or George? I don't remember which one. I was kind of just like, if you blinked, you would have missed it. Them showing all their bodies, and like, I would have thought that they would have done something more, or towards the end shown, after Harry, they defeated Voldemort and all that stuff. We would have had something, and they don't mention Tonks and Lupin's son at all. So I just thought that part was kind of weird. It's like, if you weren't looking at the screen that moment, you would have kind of missed it. And I thought, I was a little bit irritated that Voldemort did not kill off. And again, like I said, I don't think he gets killed off in the book, because, like I said, I haven't read the book all the way through. But I just thought that Malfoy's dad would have gotten killed. I mean, Voldemort killed how many people? Then, if he didn't find them useful, or if he didn't think they were useful anymore. And obviously, at the one point in the movie, when they say, "No, I know you're not, he's gotten kind of like weak or whatever," I would have thought that he would have just killed him. And it kind of irritated me that they didn't, because they're just like, just kill the guy. He's like this feeble guy now, the way he's going around and walking around and stuff. Why, it's kind of Voldemortish, I think, that he just let him, live. I thought that was, maybe it was just me, but, and I'm like, well, wouldn't, I've went on a brain freeze right now with the loss of the names. Narcissa, I think it's Narcissa, Draco's mom, and she asks Harry, when Harry's laying there, and everyone thinks he's dead, and she checks and she asks him a question, and so she knows that Draco's alive. I would have thought that since Voldemort can read minds, and she obviously knew that Harry was alive, then Voldemort would have been able to tell that. But I don't know. Maybe that was just me. I thought about that afterwards. Let's see here. What else? And the ending I thought was a little bit weird. Like, and again, I don't remember if it's Fred or George, whichever one was killed. And it's like, what happened to them? The survivor, like, what did they do? What was, like, hello, it was a huge part of the other person's, of that person's life, was their twin brother. Like, what did they do? Did they, 19 years later? And I thought that was another thing that was so weird, 19 years later. 19 years, really? Because if I remember correctly, at 10, they had, at the epilogue of the book, they had Tonks, and Lupin's son there with all of Harry and Ginny's children, and all the other, I guess you call it second generation or whatever, of all the kids going off to Hogwarts. But if it's 19 years later, that wouldn't make much sense. The time frame, I think, would be off. But overall, I mean, I did like the movie. I thought it was a lot better than actually the first part of the Deathly Hallows. Is that one I just thought a little bit, it kind of dragged a little bit. And it is some of the parts, well, majority of the part in this book that I've skipped over. Then Harry and Ron and Hermione all just walking around. That part I found boring. But yeah, and it would have been interesting to have more about what was going on with the Wizarding World and stuff. But yeah, I did think it was good. I did really like some of a lot of the action and stuff, because the second part of it was just so much more action from beginning to end, even though it was only 2 hours and 10 minutes. It didn't seem like it was 2 hours, because it was just pretty much action to action. I thought the scenes were really good with their all fighting at the castle and stuff. The one thing that I didn't think that they should have had, because it kind of spoiled it a little bit for like the people that have never read the books. My husband's, he hasn't read any of the books, because he knew Harry was still alive, because in all the previews they have that one part where it's Harry and Voldemort, and they're standing kind of like on the edge of one of the castles, and Harry makes the comment, "Oh, let's start this like we did, the beginning, together," or whatever." And he grabs Voldemort and they he leaps them off. So my husband told me, he turned to me and he's like, "Oh, well, Harry's not dead, because they haven't had that scene." So I think maybe they should have kind of left that part out, but of the previews, because I do think that was a little bit of a spoiler for some people. I did think it was really sad that Dobby had to die. Like, why did he have to die? I guess it was his dream of helping his hero, because Harry saved him and all that, but I just thought it was sad. They could have, I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was alright. Again, the ending was a little bit, different, I thought. I thought they could have had a little bit more for the ending, as far as what happened so many years later, what people were doing. And I do hope, although who knows if she ever will or not, I do hope that they would make a prequel of more of what was going on with Lily and James and Lupin and Snape and all that stuff. And I know some people are probably like, well, they've already kind of done that, but I just thought it would be interesting if they do. Not so much really interested in what would happen to like Harry and Ginny's children and all that. Just for me, anyways, just because who's gonna come back now and be the evil person if Voldemort was dead and Voldemort was, the most awful wizard and everything? Like, who's really gonna go up against Harry, So, yeah, I would like to see it, like a prequel. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, and I know my review probably sounds like I complained a lot, but I did really enjoy the second movie more than the first one. But yeah, I just thought that there were some things that could have been added. But again, I've been told by various people that I get too involved with movies and that you don't have to know what happens to everyone. So, anyways, let me know what you think of my comments or what you thought of the movie. So I hope everyone has a great week. I will have my Talk to Me Tuesday on Tuesday. I might do it either early. Wait a second. Well, mine will probably actually be late, due to a couple reasons. Or I might do mine on Monday and upload it, because Tuesday, my husband has to have uh, an eye procedure done on his eye, so I have to be there. And then Wednesday, I am gonna be in Iowa for a few days, visiting family. So, but yeah. So I will see everyone probably on Monday then. Take care.